This is your ICP. It's gorgeous, it's brilliant. It's some of the most smartest strategy work you and your team has ever done in creating it. So often as startup founders, we do all this work around creating the strategy for our startup, but often strategy gets lost in execution. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 things you can do that I've used before to actually implement your ICP, align your team, mobilize it, and drive towards product market fit, traction, and the next stage of growth for your startup. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, author of the book, How to Punch the Sunday Jitters in the Face, entrepreneur and angel investor. On this channel, I help startup founders, business owners, and entrepreneurs create and execute on an unstoppable strategy with belief and discipline. I drop an episode like this with the TK energy every single Sunday. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and let's dig in. Peter Drucker is often attributed to saying, what gets measured actually gets managed. Now, rumor has it Peter Drucker never said this, but Harvard Business Review quotes it all the time. It's a good proverb, and I believe in it. So you've got this crazy, awesome, beautiful, ideal customer profile, and now you're like, oh my God, this is gonna change everything and drive to the next stage of growth. The question is, how do you actually implement it? I'm gonna walk you through the 3 things you can do to actually implement your ICP to align your team. I've used these 3 techniques in building out ToutApp, which I took from 0 to 7 million ARR and then sold to Marketo. At Marketo, I joined as the SVP of strategy, and we used these 3 techniques and more to actually use an ICP to drive growth, to drive returns, and it led to a $4.75 billion exit to Adobe within 2 years. So if you're excited to dig in, hit the like button and let's get started. Step number 1, and we did this at ToutApp and at Marketo, is you need to take your ICP and actually codify it into what I call your Dream 100. You should be familiar with the Dream 100. You might have heard about it before. The Dream 100 is your Dream 100 list of customers, except they're actually in your ICP. How do you actually implement this? The way it works is you actually scour the internet, scour data sources, and actually build out your CRM and your database with company info, roles, emails, phone numbers, and triggers so that you have a concrete list of companies and people in those companies to actually go after. That is your Dream 100 list. You give access to that kind of database, that kind of information to marketing, to sales, to yourself, and everything changes because now there's something actionable and tangible, an actual group of contacts to follow from your ICP, and that will change everything around aligning your entire team. Now, once you have this Dream 100 database, and once you have this codified list, and by the way, if you don't quite know how to build an ICP, if you're like watching this and you're like, I don't even have an ICP yet, be sure to watch this video where I explain the 3 most misunderstood things about an ICP, and this video, which explains exactly how to build an ICP. Now, you're in this, so keep watching this video, and I promise I'll link to it below so you can watch it after this video. Now that you have your ICP and you've built out your Dream 100 list and you actually have it in a database, the next step is actually to mobilize yourself with actual numbers and measures. What you want to do is create a report that actually measures ICP versus non-ICP. And you can go backdate this, you can look at your prior data if you have data, and you want to identify all the deals you closed and how many of them would fall into your ICP versus not your ICP. And then you can look ahead and track it over time. When you create a report that measures what kind of revenue you generated within your ICP versus outside of your ICP, when you measure win rates in your ICP versus outside of your ICP, when you measure ACV, average contract value, inside of your ICP versus outside of your ICP, and when you look at the time to close a deal inside of your ICP versus outside of your ICP, chances are, this was the case at ToutApp, this was the case at Marketo, whenever you are within the ICP, which is your sweet spot, everything was higher. the deal sizes were bigger, the win rates were higher, and the time to close deals were shorter. So if you can actually measure this going forward, you can reinforce the brilliance of your ICP, which you and I know is brilliant, but you'll actually prove it. And if you have prior data and you can look at the deals that you've already closed and map it against whether it's non-ICP versus ICP and highlight those critical factors, everyone will start to align around the ICP because it'll become that much clearer that this ICP is actually brilliant and it'll rise all tides and actually help you get to the next stage of growth that much faster. So before I go to number 3, I want to pause here for a second. If you're starting to see how an ICP is not just some sort of like frou-frou strategy document that collects dust, but you can actually mobilize it, you can implement it, you can codify it, you can measure against it, and you can align your entire team around it to drive growth, hit me with a yes in the comments below because I want to hear from you. It also helps us out because we put a lot of effort into these videos. And when you put a yes in the comments below, we feel good. And also YouTube knows that we're creating value and that helps us out. So hit me with a yes if you're starting to see the power in mobilizing and implementing your ICP. And this brings me to step number 3. Now, I didn't do this at ToutApp, but we did it at Marketo, and it may be a little controversial or a little scary with your board, but it's brilliant and it works, I promise you. What you can do is you can start to optimize your comp plan so when they go after a deal in the ICP, the comp and the commission is higher. And when they go after a deal in the non-ICP, the commission is lower. Let me explain. I know this is kind of blasphemy and kind of crazy. When an ICP is correct and it works, everything is better for your business. Your win rates are higher. Your ACV, your deal sizes are bigger. Your time to close a deal is shorter. Everything is better. What that means is you actually have a strategy that is an efficient use of resources, which means that you want more and more people going in the ICP. And you and I know there are always these other attractive deals, these things that look good, but you know it's not in your sweet spot. And humans will be humans, and sometimes they'll go after the easier deal not in your sweet spot, and sometimes they'll go after a bigger deal, which you'll never win, but it's not in your sweet spot, but it feels attractive. And so when you actually align everything to the comp plan, and you say, look, we believe in our ICP so much, and we have the metrics to prove it, and we have the strategy defined that explains it, and we have the database built out so it's easy for you, and we'll also give you more commission, everyone gets aligned. And everyone all of a sudden is like, okay, is that an ICP deal or a non-ICP deal? Because if it's not an ICP deal, I make less money as a rep, as a marketer. You can tie it to OKRs, you can tie it to commission, basically tie it to the comp plan, and you align your entire company around it. So to recap, once you have your brilliant ICP, and now I'll actually link to the, you can click here or here and go check that on how to actually create an ICP. You'll also want to check out these 2 videos on common misconceptions around an ICP. So you can check those out, open a new tab. So now you know what the 3 things are. Number 1, you want to convert your ICP to a Dream 100 list. You then want to actually measure how you're doing on your ICP and look at your prior data. And then finally, you want to incentivize people to go into the ICP by paying them more or pay them less if they do a non-ICP deal. When you actually build out an ideal customer profile, everything becomes easier. That's why it's such a powerful growth strategy tool. And an ICP is just one of the growth strategy tools that I love. But there are 5 other growth strategy tools that I really care about as well that I've used in SaaS businesses to help them grow. And so if you want to learn more about those, be sure to follow the link below. I've created a 5-part startup strategy guide. It's completely free. It's an easy to consume PDF. You can follow the link below and get it. And it will help you create a 1-page strategy document by answering very simple questions. On my next video, I'll be digging into if I were starting ToutApp all over again, or if I was starting a SaaS business from scratch, how would I go about it? What would I do? So I'm gonna dig into that in the next video. I'm super excited about it. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified when I drop that episode on a Sunday. And lastly, look, if you liked this video, it would mean the world to me and my team if you hit the like button. When you hit the like button, it tells YouTube that we're creating something of value, and that helps us on our mission to help as many startup founders as possible actually grow their businesses, get to product market fit, get to traction in that next stage of growth, which is what I'm really, really passionate about. And also, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. I drop a video like this every single Sunday. And remember, most importantly, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. But when you're with us, yours is gonna be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you next Sunday.